So welcome everybody. This is our deep dive into mantra that me and Jyotipal were inspired to offer because me and Jyotipal do many retreats together and trainings together, and we've got a one next month which we'll talk about in a bit. But because of that, we thought we'd offer, the benefits of yoga and particularly mantra. So I think you've all know me. I'm Harnal. I now live in Glastonbury. Been here 4 years now. And I run Kundalini Yoga teacher trainings here as well as other training. And Jyotipal sort of lives up the road.
Yeah, so my name is Jyotipal. Welcome everyone. So I've been teaching Kundalini Yoga for 14 years and I live in Frome in Somerset. And Harnal and I run the Japa most of the time together. Sometimes I've done it with other people, but and yeah, delighted to be here to be sharing these wonderful teachings and this technology with you this morning. And I have a little dog on my lap, if you like dogs.
So maybe we just tune in just to open the space and then we can dive straight in.
Yeah.
So maybe just bring your hands together. We'll do the Om Namo 3 times. Inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. And inhale. Hold the breath, apply the root lock, lifting your energies and release. So welcome everybody. So we've got some things to share that hopefully will really inspire you to chant and how it really helps, the benefits of it. Hi, Gemma. So this is our deep dive into a mantra, and we're particularly focusing on the mantra, the Chakra Chakravarti. And this is a mantra that really helps remove fears and brings us to a sense of victory. So what we're looking at is what we're going to look at in this next hour, won't be longer than that. So we're going to just start off by doing the benefits and the timings of mantra and the different effects that causes. And then we'll sort of more then move on to introducing the Shabad Guru and the difference between the Shabad Guru and a mantra. And then we'll look at the mantra we're working on, the Chakra Chakravarti, and how it is an 8-beat mantra and what does that mean. And the mantra itself comes from Guru Gobind Singh, so we will touch on that. And then we will really get to the pronunciation, because this is such a key thing. And we'll finish by doing a beautiful mantra, which you can continue. And I believe you're starting this, aren't you, Jyoti?
Yeah, so I'm going to be starting a 40-day practice on the 3rd of November with this mantra, which is in a way of preparation for us for the japa, so that you can really get used to the vibration of it. So if you would like to join that, then I will send the details of that in an email. But that will be in the mornings. It will be 6:30 to 7:30 weekdays, and then at weekends there's a recording. You do it at your own time.
Okay. So to dive straight in, the thing with chanting and therefore mantras, there is really three keys that you need to remember. It's rhythm, pronunciation, and the projection. So the rhythm really is that you can have many different rhythms in that sense. As you know, all of your favorite mantras, every artist does a different rhythm to it, a different melody to it. But the key is when you are chanting to have the consistency of that rhythm, because it is the rhythm that affects us. The pronunciation, this will go into in more detail. Now, it might not be so easy for you to pronounce Gurmukhi, but that's the practice. That's you know, and the more you do it, the more the mouth and the tongue form this sweet spot where you really are pronouncing it correctly, and then it just sort of beautifully rolls off the tongue. And then projection. So projection is when you're really letting the tongue connect to your navel. So you're bringing that power, your personal power, from your navel point into the pronunciation, into the words themselves. So you're really invested, you're really committed and behind what you're chanting. And that makes it far more impactful. So as we know, we can chant in Kundalini Yoga for many different times. The beauty of it is you can do a mantra for just 3 minutes and it will have an effect on you. So by chanting for 3 minutes, you're literally just going to affect your aura, your magnetic field, which, so if you're not feeling so good and stable, you can chant for 3 minutes and you will change your aura and it will make it more complete. So therefore we feel more secure and all the benefits that come with that. But the longer you chant, it has a much deeper and more profound effect on our total being. So if you do it for 11 minutes, you really then begin to affect, as well as your aura, also your nervous system and your glandular system. Your glandular system is important for your immune system. If you then go to 31 minutes, then this sort of concentrates the rhythm, the mantra that you're chanting, and affects every cell in the body and the rhythms of the body. So if you then go from 30 to an hour, this is when we really start to work with the subconscious. Up till this point, we've really been working more on the physical and the energetical, but 62 minutes really then starts to work on the subconscious mind, the shadow self. 2.5 hours, this is when that subconscious mind is really held in a new pattern, in a new rhythm, you could say. And it's more connected, therefore, to the divine truth, the universal mind, rather than being just connected to a shadow consciousness that is sabotaging you. And when we do the japa, we do it in sections. Even though we're chanting for 40 hours, we do it in sections of either 2 hours or 4 hours. And of course, when you do something for 40 days or 40 hours, it really does bring in a new rhythm and it's more embodied. So it's not going to sort of disappear afterwards. So chanting really is working on your rhythm and therefore on your mind. So it really is a way of directing the mind. So instead of having those negative thought patterns, those reactive patterns that really just don't serve you. The chanting can, in a way, put in a new rhythm. It can put in a new pattern that you will then, hopefully it becomes a habit. So then when that situation in your life occurs, you're triggered to, in a way, respond with a different pattern, which serves you rather than bringing you down, bringing your frequency down. So by chanting, we are actually setting vibrations in motion. Now, we are always vibrating, we are always creating, but then it's a case of what are we creating? So by chanting the mantra, you are consciously choosing that vibration, and that will have a particular result. It could be, you know, peace of mind. There's many mantras that are set for that effect. Could be about raising your self-esteem. It could be a healing, like the mantra Rama Dasa Sase Soham. And a lot of mantras give us guidance. And the mantra we're working on today is really about how to release fear and anxiety. And so we can become victorious in our life rather than the victim of our life. So a little bit about how it works. As we know, everything is energy, yeah? Everything is a wave. Nothing is actually solid. The whole world, the whole universe is a vibration. And in some sense, that is a rhythm. What is the vibration? Is it a high vibration? Is it a low vibration? And every vibration, in a sense, creates a sound. We might not be able to hear it because of the range of that our ear can pick up, but it does have a sound in that sense. As Plato said, sound is the basis of universe, which is a lovely thing in English because you've got uni, sort of meaning united, in verse. So it is like what verse, what rhythm are we all uniting to? And the universe has one united rhythm. We, of course, have free will, so we can sort of go off on tangents. And that's our journey, in a sense. We go off on a tangent, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But then we need to bring it back home. And so we go off on that tangent, have an amazing experience, learn many things, but then we need to bring that experience back home to embody it. So really, the key with this is that sound is one of the quickest ways to change space. What do we often do when we want to create an atmosphere? We put on some music and instantly it changes the space. You can put on your favorite track. It instantly changes your mood. So, but there's sound and then there's sacred sound. So when we're chanting in yoga, we're bringing these two elements together. So we're weaving the masculine and the feminine in. So you've got the bhakti, which is the receiving. So this is where we really are listening to the rhythm of the universe, the rhythm of the mantra, our own vibration. And this develops a very devotional state, because to listen, you just need to be not projecting at the same time. How often do we listen and at the same time are already thinking what you're going to say? You're already formulating your response. This isn't listening. This isn't receiving. That's the Shakti when we go into activation. And both are needed. Not one is more important than the other. So the key thing really is vibration changes and creates form. The vibration of your own thoughts are what create your life. If you have a vibrational thought of a low frequency, your life could be, and your mood could be one of being more depressed. If your vibration is of a higher frequency, you can embrace life with joy and creativity and innocent flow and all of those things that is our true state, actually. Now, the reason it works so well on us is the physical body is actually like an instrument, and it is a divine instrument. And within it, we have the 72 nadis. So these are almost like the strings of the instrument, which you can literally play. And by chanting, you are vibrating those strings, and that impacts your whole system. And particularly, it affects the brain. And the brain really is the command of the whole system. So when we chant, we have the mouth and the tongue, and this is why that pronunciation is so key. So when we're chanting, and the tongue will move across the roof of the mouth, and this is an image of the roof of the mouth, and all of these little black dots, there's 2 per tooth, all the way around. So there's 32 meridian points here, and then you've got like 54 in the central upper palate. So when you chant a particular sound, it is activating a particular meridian, and more to the point, a sequence. It is literally like a keyboard to the brain. So this is why the pronunciation really is really a very key point. So when we're chanting on those 84 meridian points on the roof of the mouth, particularly, we're stimulating what's known as the golden pathway. So that's the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus gland, and the pineal gland. And they then, when they are really in balance, they will produce the hormones, the instructions for your whole system to really be in harmony. So our consciousness literally relates to the chemical composition of our brain. Remember, as above, so below. The physical affects our consciousness, and our consciousness creates the physical. So this is why mantras can really cut through, transform, change any vibrating pattern that you have. And it works consciously, but also on the subconscious. So you could say mantras are literally formulas that alter the patterns of the mind through that rhythm, pronunciation with all of the 84 meridian points, and then your power with the projection. And Gurmukhi, interestingly, is one of the few languages, and it's a sacred language, that actually is stimulating potentially the whole mouth, where most of our languages, like English, it doesn't have the full range. So with English, there's always going to be some of those meridian points that we're not going to stimulate. For example, in English, we're not very good with our R's. You know, we don't roll them. We're not so guttural. And other languages have those benefits, but they don't have benefits that English might have. But Gurmukhi really is like a whole brain activation. It is also very good to link it with the breath, because apart from sound, breath is the other main thing that really can change your state, change your space. So that's just a little bit of the background and science, you could say, on how mantra actually works, to just inspire you to you know practice more. So maybe I'll go over to Jyotipal.
Yes.
Talk.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about japa. So japa is the repetition of a mantra over and over and over again. And what Yogi Bhajan said, that when you chant a mantra over and over, that this makes you bright, light, and prosperous, because what it's doing is that, as Harnal has explained, you're expanding your electromagnetic field, but you're getting into a flow because you're bringing everything into balance within yourself. And so when you're chanting over and over again, you're working very, very deeply on changing the subconscious. As Harnell has explained, that when we're chanting something over a prolonged period of time, we're actually changing the cellular structure, we're changing the grey matter of the brain, we're changing those subconscious blocks. And so there is a difference between a mantra and a shabad. And so a mantra helps to direct the mind towards a different vibration. And man means mind, and tra means a tool. So it's like mantra is a tool which helps us then to direct the mind to peace, for example, or healing, like Sat Nam, and we're using that in the yoga. Whereas a shabad is a sacred sound. It's a divine word. It's the words of an enlightened being. So when somebody has that experience of the divine coming through them, then this is a shabad. So it has a very different vibration. It comes through the anahata, which is the unstruck sound of the universe. So it comes through us as poetry, or comes through that enlightened person as poetry, but when we chant it, we're then also holding that vibration. So it works in a different way. And the Shabad is very much part of like Nad Yoga or Kundalini Yoga. It comes from more the Sikh tradition. And it shakes loose whatever it is that you're holding that's of a lower vibration. So it's this really amazing tool then to start to change the subconscious and the patterns that you have in your life. So Sha means sound and Bud means ego. So it's like the sound current is cutting through the ego, and it's like the sound current becomes the teacher because it's directing you into a different space, um, a different vibration. So when we're repeating over and over and over again the words of a Shabad, first of all, we're calming the mind and the nervous system. So we're soothing anxiety, we're helping to calm the mind, we're creating that rhythm so that our brain waves start to change, and we're moving much more into a parasympathetic state. And then we're rewiring the nervous system. So, we've got these neural pathways where we react in a particular way, which has become so automatic. And when you're chanting, when you're doing japa over and over again, you're changing those neural pathways, and you're therefore then clearing the fears or the negativity, the thoughts that maybe you get stuck into. And then it turns us inside. So it helps us to find that inner state, rather than that distraction. You may have experienced where, you're doing a meditation, and for the first like maybe 15, 20, 25 minutes, your mind is really, really busy. It's because we're so used to being distracted on the outside. So when you're doing japa, you're turning that energy on the inside, and therefore that you're building a foundation for a much, much deeper meditation. So when we chant over 40 hours, I mean, actually, we do 20 hours each because we're in two groups. But when you're holding that vibration, even when you're not chanting, you're still holding that vibration. It means that you're opening up the space to go into a much, much deeper, more profound experience. And it's like the veil between the 3D and the higher consciousness starts to dissolve, which is why then you can start to receive guidance and clarity and messages coming through. Um, and so I mean, for me, during I've run the Japa retreat for like 9 years, and the inspiration came from going to France and doing it with Carter Singh. You may or may not know him. And what's the mantra that they do in France? I can't remember the name of it. It's completely gone. Anyway, there's a specific practice from the Sikh tradition, and it is also the words of Guru Gobind Singh, who was the 10th Sikh Guru. He was a warrior, and which is also the words that we're going to be chanting in the japa. But I was there the first time that I went, and it was very fast. They were chanting it very, very quickly. And I remember for the first 4 hours thinking, oh my God, why am I here? Why am I doing this? I couldn't get the words. I was falling over the words. I was uncomfortable. I was really irritated. I, just thought I'm never going to get it. And then suddenly the mind, after about 4 hours, the mind let go and the mantra came through me. And it was like I wasn't chanting those words. Those words were channeled through, and it was an incredible experience to be carried by that sound current. So it's like, we need a certain length of time to go into a deep meditation. And often, when we're doing like, 15, 20, 30-minute meditations, okay, obviously we're going to get a benefit, but really sometimes we need a fulcrum. We need something that works much, much deeper, that goes more at a diagonal level into the subconscious to clear out those very, very deep patterns. And that's what japa helps us to do. And so we're going to be chanting the Shabad that comes from Guru Gobind Singh, which is the Chakra Chakravarti. And he was the 10th Sikh Guru. So he lived during a time of the Mughals, when there was like massive amounts of war and people were being persecuted. I mean, actually, he was executed by the Mughals. But, he had this divinity within himself, where he was able to connect with that anahata, that unstruck sound that came through. And his words were the Jap Sahib. And so the Jap Sahib he gave that to his people in this time of war, when they felt downtrodden, when they felt weak, when they felt like, that they needed some kind of courage and they needed to find fearlessness. And he gave them the Jap Sahib. And so the Chakra Chakravarti is part of the Jap Sahib. And if you listen to the words of the whole Shabad, it has this incredible energy of really lifting you up. If you feel weak, if you feel like, that you don't have victory over your life, or you feel completely overwhelmed, if you chant these words, it's really amazing how it has such a profound effect on your life. And so, we're taking a portion of the Jap Sahib and we're going to be chanting it over 40 hours. Can you imagine what that is going to start to do to what these blocks that you're holding in the subconscious? And so you know, people have many, many different experiences when they come to this retreat, but I want to just share a story with my own experience and also somebody that came. So he was a client of mine, and he lost his wife after 35 years, and he was an atheist. He had had this pact with his mother that after she died, she was going to come back from the other side and send a message, and he never received anything. So he was like, there's nothing after death. But he was in a lot of emotional pain. He'd nursed his wife through cancer, and so that he didn't really know what to do, and he decided to come on the japa. And he really struggled initially with getting the words. And like me, when I first did it, he was like, why am I here? He was very much in the doubt. And then there is a sweet spot that happens in the japa. We have to go through a certain resistance. That's just part of the purification. Our resistances, our fears, our doubts, our insecurities come to the surface. We have to move through that. And when you move through it, when you stay with it, this is the grit, this is the energy of the navel that we draw on to keep going when we're facing difficulty. This is why it's such an amazing tool for life. When we can really stay with the uncomfortable feelings and we can break through it, then we find that sweet spot. And so on the Sunday morning, he had a breakthrough. And again, he said, the words came through him. He'd been struggling. The words came through him. And then his wife and his mother came to him and he had a conversation with them. And it completely changed the course of his life. I mean, he's an author. And actually, wrote a spiritual book based on this experience. He went and he traveled around the world. He went to all of these sacred sites and he was like, where has Corinne gone? He wanted to, and he was experiencing it. So, his life has done a massive U-turn and completely changed. He's writing in a different way. His perspective of life has changed. So, that's just an example of like how Japa is such a profound tool to really create very, very deep change. So, if you feel stuck in a particular pattern or you need clarity of where you're going or something is coming up over and over again that you can't seem to clear, it's really an amazing way. For me, I had a stillborn in 2019, and I was obviously in a terrible amount of pain. And I also broke up with my partner. So I was in heartbreak, and I went to the Japa and I gave the pain to the sound current. And during that time, I felt the pain dissolve in myself. It was like that energy that I was holding around my heart dissipated. And actually, I came to a place of acceptance, of really understanding, okay, that there was a gift in this, and came to a place of acceptance. So it can help on so many different levels. So just to talk a little bit more about the Chakravarti, this is known as it has an Ashtang rhythm, which means it had 8 beats. And these 8 beats are like when you chant anything that's got an 8 beat, like the Guru Gatri mantra, the Gobinde Mukande, that mantra. I don't, you may not know it, but that also has 8 beats. It's like you're opening a locked door. So what it does is it's balancing, like Harnal is saying, about your body being almost like this beautiful instrument with all of these amazing strings. When you chant an 8 beat rhythm, what you're doing is that you're actually balancing yourself in every direction, north, east, south, west, out, above, below, outer and inner, and you're bringing yourself into total balance. So you expand on every level. You bring the masculine, the feminine into balance. You bring the universal order, the universal flow through you into balance. It's like heaven and earth becomes balanced. So it's, if you're thinking about coming to the Japa, I would say come, because really it's one of those experiences that you will never forget. So over to you, Harnal.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I mean, I think Jyoti Bell has just sort of really got to that deep crux of why the mantra and the chanting is such a profound benefit to us. So we're going to look at the mantra a bit now. And look at the pronunciation. So this is the mantra we're using, the Chakravarti. And it is the very last 4 lines of the Jap. And the Jap Sahib is one of the 5 prayers. Most of us in Kundalini know the Jap Ji. And then the Jap Sahib is one of those 5 prayers. So let us just have a look at the meaning. So it is thou, as in you. So that is you yourself, and you, the universe, is pervading, is present in all 4 directions. It is the enjoyer in all 4 directions. So it is that, not just is it present in all directions, but it is alive. And really alive is meaning to enjoy that life. That's what we're here to do. We're here to really embrace it, work with it. It is a co-creation, but in enjoyment. So much of our life these days is you know, got that burden of I've got to do and I've got to finish, and I'm, you know, that task, and it sort of robs us of the joy. And that's what we're here to do. At the end of the day, literally the end of your days, what you will remember is the enjoyment. So it's to remember to enjoy in all directions. Thou art self-illumined and united with all. So we are sovereign beings. And when we are in full consciousness connection with all that we are, we shine. We illuminate ourselves. We do not need any external event, person, thing to make us feel better. Everything we need is within us. Almost every teaching, religion to a certain extent, always says go inside. And yet we keep trying, well, I'll try this, and well, maybe that didn't work, well, I'll try this. We're always trying these external things, and they do give us amazing experiences. Of course they do. Because as I said earlier, you go out, gain the experience, but the key thing is then to bring it back home. That's when we can integrate. That's when we can reflect and decompress and evolve a changed person, but from the inside. So this is the self-illumined and united with all, because we really are all one. There is one energy, and it is only the mind that thinks we are separate. And this is the free will that we have. It is our choice in which direction we want to go in. Destroyer of bad times, embodiment of mercy. So this is in a way, by connecting to that self-illumined part of you, by connecting to the one that is in everything, it will destroy anything within you that's creating separation. And separation creates pain. However, the separation, big or small, it will always create pain. So this is the bad times. And the embodiment of mercy is that forgiveness is almost not even needed to be given. It is a given. There, in that sense, there is nothing to forgive. You have done nothing wrong. You are here having your experience, and you learn you learn what you need from it. So that mercy is always present. Thou art ever within us, as the universe is within us. The source is within us. We are a fractal of source, so we can have connection to that, and that connection means we can walk it, we can breathe it, we can really literally embody it as we live our life. And this is a mastery. It is work in progress. You know, we have come here to have the experience of a human, which in some sense is to experience separation, but we don't need to embody that. Thou art the everlasting giver of undestroyable power. And again, this is talking about ourselves, but also the universe. As above, so below. It, you know, there is no separation. So that universe is always there for you. It will never give up on you. It will always give you what you need when you need it. And that means you have to go within to access that, to call it up. We are creator beings in that sense. So this is why we say this mantra removes fear, anxiety, depression, phobias, because it is removing that part of us that has created that lower vibrations, that separation, which is a habit, which we are taught to a certain extent. We come here, we forget our truth. So we look outside and we think, well, let me see what am I? What do I resonate with? And this is when we start to create those patterns. And obviously a lot of these patterns were not maybe created in this lifetime, but we still hold them. We're still connected to them. So by, destroying those bad times, we are allowing our truth, our self-illumined self, to become present. And that's the victory. I am who I am, and I am in deeply honoring all who I am and recognizing the divine within me as this imperfect human that I am. And that's that victory. You don't need to do anything to make yourself better or to be accepted or be worthy. So this mantra helps to instill that courage, because it is a heart energy to keep honoring yourself. It's not going to come from the mind. So it's a case of how to come from the mind and drop down into the heart. And then we embody that into every fiber of our being. So it gives that Saibi, which is the control over one's domain. You become the master of your space. You can recognize a low frequency going through you, absolutely. But then also, do you choose that? And that's that mastery over your space, that self-command, that you are able to really choose that serves you with grace and ease, so you can enjoy all directions of your life, the good and the bad. So we recite this when your position is endangered. And obviously this isn't really talking physically, because we don't really live that in our lives where we live, but it's endangered from those lower frequencies, from those tendencies that sabotage us. So, and when your authoritative personality is weak. So it is a beautiful mantra that can, it's really for these times that we live in, when we are so challenged with the polarities that this planet is experiencing at the moment. And even those are part of the divine plan. Even those have a purpose. What are we going to learn from them? Do we go to the polarities? Do we go outside? Do we join this group or that opinion? Or do we go inside? So let us have a look at the pronunciation. And please repeat afterwards, because remember that tongue and the mouth, there is a sweet spot there. So we have chakra, vati. So it's that difference between the T and that K. So it's chakra, vati. I hope you can hear it over Zoom. Is it coming over the sound okay?
Yeah.
Great. Should we do a line each, Jyotipal, or?
Yeah, good. So Sayambhav Subang.
No, I haven't, hang on, I haven't done that one.
Oh, sorry.
So then it's chakra bugate. Okay? So it's the same first two words. So it's chakravati, chakra bugate.
And then Sayambhav Subang. And this is like, it means self-illuminated. Sarabda Sarabjugate. Let's just say that again together. Sayambhav Subang Sarabda Sarabjugate.
And then the third line. Dukalang pranasi dialang sarupe. So these are much slower than you will ever chant them, but to get your tongue around those pronounces. Dukalang pranasi dialang sarupe.
And then Sadaang Sange Abangang Bibute. Sadaang Sange Abangang Bibute.
And that can be quite a tricky one because the Sadaang Sange is almost, it's almost like one word when it's chanted.
And also sometimes it's chanted with Sadaang Sange. Sometimes there's an extra depending on what recording you listen to, actually. So Sadaang Sange Abangang Bibute.
And this is when you're chanting it over a long period of time. Like Jyotipal said at the beginning, the mind is like trying to do it literally, and almost you get tongue twisted. And then the next time you try again, the next time you try again, the next time you try again, and then eventually the tongue and the mouth just find it. And even then, sometimes the mind is like, I don't know how I did that. So it is just, that's the process, and surrender to that process, because it will at some point, it's almost like the consciousness vibration of the mantra brings the form through, and we don't need the mind to do that. So,
And so one other thing to say, sorry, Hanal, is to, when you're, whatever it is that you're chanting, to really feel the vibration through the body, because it's like, each word has a vibration. That's the nod, the sound current. You want to be able to really feel that through the body. So it's like as you're chanting the words, come to the body and really have that embodied experience of it rather than it being a construct of the mind.
So should we finish with the mantra?
Yeah.
So this is the mantra that Jyotipal is going to be doing for when starting on the 3rd, you said, yes?
3rd of November, yeah. So we'll do like a short, quite a simple kriya to just open the heart first before we then go into this. So the morning practice is an hour, basically 6:30 to 7:30. It's also recorded, so if you can't make it on a day, you can catch the recording. But the idea is to, like the timings, that the 40 days helps us to really change the pattern. And it also, if you're thinking about coming to the japa, it's a really great way to feel an embodiment of the frequency before you come, because it will help you then to hold it over the weekend.
So do you want to show the mantra,
The mudra?
Yeah. So with this,
yeah, go on. Do you want to?
just like you want to keep the elbows almost rested by the rib cage. So you do move the hands in this circular motion, and it is that, the forearm, but it's not, you keep the elbows just sort of tucked in, okay?
And I always, with this, that I always get this sense of like, that one hand is receiving, one hand is giving, and that actually that you can really get a sense of like the electromagnetic field and the arc line really building as you hold this mudra. The arc line being around the head, and then, the aura being pervading the whole body.
So I'm going to put up the mantra so you can follow it. So this as we take it in visually through the eyes, this also helps to connect to it, especially at the beginning. Okay, so come into the position and remember to listen. So you really listen, and so you can copy the sound, engage your navel to bring up that energy. Can you hear that okay?
Turn it up slightly.
चतर चाकर भुगते स्वयंभाव स्वभंग सर्वदा सर्व जुगते तुकालं प्रणासी दयालं स्वरूपे सदांग संगे अभंगं विभूते चतर चक्रवर्ती चतर चक्र भुगते स्वयंभाव स्वभंग सर्वदा सर्व जुगते तुकालं प्रणासी दयालं स्वरूपे सदांग संगे अभंगं विभूते चतर चक्रवर्ती चतर चक्र भुगते स्वयंभाव स्वभंग सर्वदा सर्व जुगते तुकालं प्रणासी दयालं स्वरूपे सदांग संगे अभंगं विभूते चतर चक्रवर्ती चतर चक्र भुगते स्वयंभाव स्वभंग सर्वदा सर्व जुगते तुकालं प्रणासी दयालं स्वरूपे सदांग संगे अभंगं विभूते चतर चक्रवर्ती चतर चक्र भुगते स्वयंभाव स्वभंग सर्वदा सर्व जुगते तुकालं प्रणासी दयालं स्वरूपे सदांग संगे अभंगं विभूते चतर चक्रवर्ती चतर चक्र भुगते स्वयंभाव स्वभंग सर्वदा सर्व जुगते तुकालं प्रणासी दयालं स्वरूपे सदांग संगे अभंगं विभूते चतर चक्रवर्ती चतर चक्र भुगते स्वयंभाव स्वभंग सर्वदा सर्व जुगते तुकालं प्रणासी दयालं स्वरूपे सदांग संगे अभंगं विभूते चतर चक्रवर्ती चतर चक्र भुगते स्वयंभाव स्वभंग सर्वदा सर्व जुगते तुकालं प्रणासी दयालं स्वरूपे सदांग संगे अभंगं विभूते चतर चक्रवर्ती चतर चक्र भुगते स्वयंभाव स्वभंग सर्वदा सर्व जुगते तुकालं प्रणासी दयालं स्वरूपे सदांग संगे अभंगं विभूते चतर चक्रवर्ती चतर चक्र भुगते स्वयंभाव स्वभंग सर्वदा सर्व जुगते तुकालं प्रणासी दयालं स्वरूपे सदांग संगे अभंगं विभूते सजे व्रत घोर मती मट भूल न माने तीर्थ दान दया तप संजम एक बिना न एक पहचान
And inhale, exhale. Apply the root log. And relax. Take the time to just notice what chanting that mantra for just those few minutes activated within you. So thank you very much, everyone. I will send out some information about the japa, and hopefully you will be inspired to come and join us. It's a very friendly space that we create. And when we're doing the japa, it's almost the mantra is the key, not the posture. So you can sit in any way that is comfortable for you. You can lean against a wall, you can lie on the floor. All we do is we just keep chanting the mantra. There will be breaks because we do a 2-hour on, 2-hour on rhythm. So time to rest and enjoy each other's company. And
then during the night, you get we chant 4-hour blocks in the night, just so you get a bit more sleep.
Yeah.
But really, the sound current gives you the energy and the vitality to keep going. It's amazing how little sleep and little food you actually need. Although we provide beautiful vegan food, you'll be well looked after. And it's, we come together like a family, really. We're doing something amazing for ourselves and for the planet. It's a very uplifting experience.
So just so you know, it's in about a month's time. So it starts Friday evening on the 21st. And then we'll finish Sunday lunchtime. Well, yeah, because then we finish with a sort of like a celebration lunch altogether on the 23rd of November. And so then you've got the rest of the afternoon to relax in Glastonbury or just go home and take all that beautiful energy to your own home and your own family. So thank you very much. I don't know if there's any questions. We've sort of done our hour, but we can, if there is any questions. Okay, So maybe we just close the space now and you can enjoy the rest of your day. And maybe I see some of you tomorrow for the online class. So inhale. Satnam. 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 Wajika Kalsa, Wajiki Pate. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you all. Hope to see you again.
See you
Bye.
soon, Jyoti Pal. Bye.
Bye. Love.